fro is insane, bro.
Right?
I need to call my stylist and see if I can get it done here pretty soon before May.
Man's got a
Yeah,
stylist, he said. That's crazy.
Right. Not I need to go to the hair salon. I need to call my stylist.
I gotta make her sound fancy. I gotta make it sound like I got something going on, right?
Mm-mm.
I've been going to her since 2020, and I'm pretty sure my barber misses me because I was going to him for 15, 16 years.
Oh wow, never mind. I was gonna
I
say,
mean, sometimes it'd be like that. Oh my god, I realized I didn't make a freaking cover for this episode. Hold on. I didn't. Let me grab one of the Spider-Man super. I'll use the Sanford Green Spider-Man Superman, and then I'll make a more permanent one later. But this will be good for them. Oh wait, there's not a textless version of that, is there? Damn it! Ugh, Jesus, hold on. I wanted to use the green one, Sanford. No, Spider-Man Superman.
So
there's so many you know what, I'm gonna use the Miles and Clark one. Fuck it. We'll just do that. The Miles and Clark one is fine. Because that was a really good story and I really enjoyed it. I have thoughts on this. Like, I have thoughts on this, but I'm also just like, how do I say this? We'll talk about it. I have mixed thoughts on this because did I enjoy my reading experience more? Yes, but like, I don't know.
There were still things.
The second
I definitely did like this one better.
I like this one better, but the second book, the second story,
yeah,
it was another one I handed to my girlfriend, and I was like, "Please tell me I'm not just being too woke here. Like I'm not too woke."
But it was better than the other one. That's all I can give it, though.
But like,
I will say
the bar too low is the issue.
Yeah, like at least finally got a notification about the live. Hell yeah, Gary, welcome in.
Oh, Gary's here.
Let me drop myself. Whatchamacallit?
I need to post that we're live on TikTok.
All right, there's that. I just sent myself the thumbnail. Wait, huh?
Yeah, that's an interesting choice.
I thought it was a cool. I just maybe this is just me, and like we'll get into it a little bit.
That's why I said that.
I just like I didn't like Bendis' Superman when it was being published, but I enjoy the way he wrote Superman in this, if that makes sense. Like, I think, like, I think Bendis wasn't the best choice to write Superman, but I still think what was done here was fine. That's the best way I can put it.
I can agree with that. I felt like it was very just like, I was more happy just to see Miles in this story because of the lack of Miles in the previous stories, you know? Like, that's just kind of how I was. I was more of like, thanks for giving me my corn dog at the fair. It may not be the best one right now, but at least I got a corn dog while I was at the fair, you know?
See, that was something I was thinking before. Thank you, Marvel, at least for giving us some of the black characters that were an option, whereas DC gave us
and like right, or like we'll talk about a little bit once we dig into it, but like, was Steele's story very in depth? No, but at least you let his creator write him, if that makes sense. Like Louise Simonson made the man, so like I didn't have a qualm with it. Like that, you could have done worse with this. So I was like, all right, you had someone pretty cool. You brought Louise Simonson back in to do this. So, wait, no, there we go. I was at the wrong button. Oh no, is everyone leaving? Okay, there we go. Thumbnail has been updated. Let me everyone's in the house. Everyone's doing good. Let me. Man, Mass Appeal needs to quit playing in my face. They out here like, hey, yo, we're going to launch whole record albums with that comic cover. And I'm like, y'all some bitches.
Sorry, I immediately went to Mass Effect. Mass Appeal?
Mass Appeal.
You went Mass Effect. I went Master P. None of us were in the right.
You immediately got me hyped up. I was like, are we getting a Mass Effect 4, 5? We getting a Mass Effect 5?
No,
Mass
EA's
Effect,
not getting no
yeah.
Mass Effect no more. What are you talking about?
You're not getting any more Mass Effect.
I still go back and play Andromeda, and it's better than what everybody was talking bad on, but it still wasn't what everybody was expecting. So I can give them their props for how bad it was, but it's still a fun game. I still enjoyed that game too much for how bad.
I think it's the problem that it wasn't what they expected a Mass Effect game to be given prior Mass Effects. So that was more the frustration for some people.
Oh, I can agree on that. Because I went into this game expecting Mass Effect, and I got almost an Outer Worlds or whatever that Bethesda game is.
Interesting.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
All right, I just posted on socials that we are live and kicking. I swear this software hates me because it doesn't want to make me look the right direction, and I'm like, bitch, can I look the right direction, please? Like, stop making me look the other direction. I don't understand. So I'm gonna just do what I did previously and put myself over here and flip the camera because I'm gonna make myself be over here because F that. There's no reason why I can't just be over here and chill. All right, I finally got another. Yo, Dreamers in chat, what's up, y'all? All right, what I'm gonna say, like the goal was to get things pop locking and polka dotting, and that's what we did. Things look great. Tashi, how do you think the meeting went that we had?
I think it went pretty good.
Hell yeah, like to hear.
I'm actually glad we were all on one accord.
Also, hey, B, just so you know, your pull list is gonna be shrinking next month. Just be ready.
I can deal with that.
He didn't hesitate. Brother didn't even hesitate.
Cool. I got other stuff.
I've got more than enough entertainment to be happy.
That is the answer we need motherfuckers to have.
Pretty much.
Oh, that's the answer we need motherfuckers to have. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Oh shit! I didn't expect him to say that. But
all I heard was more money going into my pocket. Okay.
He said, "Look,
You know
I may work 50 billion jobs, but I'm broke. Give me my money back."
He's like, I may work a lot, but I like having money. Like,
exactly.
I ain't even mad at that.
I work a lot to go camping, and gas prices ain't gotten cheap.
Man, and the fact that like we were starting to see a little bit of a drop, and then Trump's bitch ass said, yo, prices are we don't know when the war's gonna end. And I was like, F you. Like, because now everything's gonna go through the roof. And it was so funny too, because I was monitoring flights for Baltimore Comic-Con because like every person I talked to was telling me that I specifically need to be at Baltimore Comic-Con to report on some shit in September. And they were like, and I was monitoring flights. It went down to 268 for like 3 days. And then Trump said that shit. It went back up to 370. I was like, you bitch. I was waiting for my tax return to hit. That way I could get that shit. And you fucked it up. Like, you ruined everything.
It was perfect timing for me because we were like, all right, we can fill up, go get gas. Everything's going to be great. The day we're going to go camping and it'll be perfect. And apparently I should have done it the night before because I woke up the next day and instead of $3.99, gas was back at $4.15. And I was like, all right, I appreciate it. Yep. Mm-hmm. It's been ranging between $3.99 and $4.35, depending on where I'm at in Utah.
Bruh, no, over here in Ohio,
crazy.
That shit is like $3.90 most places. And then if I go to Costco, if I go to my way to ride to Costco, that shit is $3.60. And I'm like,
that sounds about
Oh man, I missed. See, that's how my prices were a year ago. I was spending $3.50 for expensive gas, $3 for regular gas. Maybe if I get lucky, I can find like a $2.75. But no, whole extra dollar spike increase in less than a year.
What comics released? I'm actually mad curious now because like someone just asked me in a DM what comic released on your birthday when you were born, and I'm like, oh, I actually don't know.
Huh.
10. Well, I like especially because I'll put 10/11 because I know I was born on a Tuesday, so I'm like, what came out 10/11 1995 DC Comics. Oh shit! Hey, I got two big ones. I got Steel number 20 and I got Robin number 21. Fuck yeah! Let me pull that up. Steel number 20.
Yeah, I gotta go look that up now.
That's different.
I'm actually mad curious.
Like I feel like I looked this up at one point, but really didn't like look at it.
What comics were released.
Ooh, I got two good ones. Because I was born on a Tuesday, right before New Comic Day. This actually just made my day because I didn't know this. Shout out to Wonder Woman. She was the one who asked me this question. And now I got two good hits. I might actually like go out of my way to own these. This is like a fun little thing in my box. Like that's kind of
so cool. Apparently for mine, it would have been September 17th instead of 14th, and I got Marvel Edge imprint debuts featuring Daredevil, Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme, Ghost Rider, and Incredible Hulk.
I keep just getting books that released in the year.
Well, because like I specifically put like the day after because I was born on a Tuesday, so like whatever the Wednesday was of you like before or after your birth would be like the best way to go about it.
Oh well, I was born on Wednesday, so.
Oh well, shit, you got lucky.
Black Hawk number 3.
10, 11, 1995. Gas in South Carolina where I'm at is 420. Yeesh. Well, you're going to Baltimore too, Gary? Hell yeah, we want to meet up.
Gary ain't never where we at. I swear. He gonna be down here in May, but he's not going to Momocon.
Why do I keep stumbling across all of this edgier Marvel stuff recently? Like, for my birthday, it's like, this was supposed to be the early 95 to 96 edgy Marvel. And I'm like, no, I don't need any more edgy Marvel. I had enough of that last week.
It's crazy how Google Gemini gave me the ones specifically at the top of the Google search. It gave me the ones for DC, but like I'm having to like look deeper for the Marvel ones. I got Avengers number 392, Avengers Unplugged.
See, I meant to put mine.
The fact back in the 90s with like there was a whole like X line. Oh, I just realized my septum is out of my nose because I was blowing my nose earlier. Hold on one second.
Oh, Justice League Europe number 2 came out.
And was Wonder Woman 103 and Flash 107. Ooh.
Y'all getting all the good stuff. I got Justice League Europe. I
got Justice League Europe.
Justice League Europe. Okay.
Are y'all talking shit?
Yep, talking shit on you. Yeah, wait, we just waited for you to get the headphones off first. You don't want to get kicked off the podcast.
Oh my gosh, that would never.
Is it because I'm old? Is that what it is?
You're old? What the hell? What are you, 29?
Thank you.
There we go.
I have all the stuff that I don't really care about.
I mean, like, honey, I have gray hair in my beard. I already feel old, and I'm 30, so like, I don't really care.
No. I had gray in my beard.
I'm pretty sure I'm the oldest. B, how old are you?
Me and B are both 30, I think.
Yeah, I'm the oldest.
I'm 30. About to turn 31 this year. I got to remember that. I'm getting up there in age now that it's another year.
Yeah, like that's what I was like. I'm pretty sure. I've always thought I was the oldest one here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
It's crazy to me
Oh,
that back in the day, like there were so many X books and Spider books being released back in the day. Like Spider-Man had Spectacular Scarlet Spider, and Scarlet Spider Unlimited all being published, and Web of Scarlet Spider and Untold Tales of Spider-Man all published at the same time. Crazy.
wow. It's crazy. Like so far, I've seen Justice League Europe #2 and Black Hawk #3. Nothing I care about.
Oh, okay. Got me feeling old. Gary, how old are you?
I think Gary's actually older than me. I think Alonzo is like 2 years older than me. Who else? Anaji was 10 years older than me. I can't remember anybody else's age right now that was at least close, but older than me.
Where the hell did my Discord go? There it is.
Oh no, you were younger than me. I don't know why I thought you were older than me.
Hey, September babies.
Crazy.
Yeah, my brother is a Virgo.
We evil little dudes out here.
But you know this shit with Dennis Camp earlier. This shit had me rolling earlier, and like here's what's gonna be really interesting. I'm really intrigued to see if DC does anything come Monday, or if we hear anything, or Marvel, because straight up, if DC or Marvel doesn't say they refuse to work with Dennis Camp after this statement that he made, DC gonna be looking real transphobic. I'm just saying.
Wait, with which one?
So you know that shit that I put in the Discord earlier about Dennis Camp?
Mhm.
Like, if we recall, what was it? What was it? 6 to 8 months ago when Charlie Kirk got axed off, and old girl who was writing the
That's right.
Who was writing the Red Hood book said she was happy his ass was dead and called him a Nazi, and she got fired off of Red Hood. Like if DC don't say something about Dennis, that's gonna be looking kind of transphobic.
Yeah, that really will be.
We'll see.
We got enough problems right now.
I mean, DC wasn't already missing any allegations on that anyway. I hate to say it's just gonna be another nail to put into the coffin for him.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I do find it very funny though that like Dennis whipped out a dartboard and was like, "Damn, people are really mad at me playing darts." Trying to act like it wasn't actually what he was talking about. I was like, "You a funny man. You a real funny man." I'm sorry. Did Isaac Hayes just follow me on fucking Twitter? Oh my god. I'm about to shit a brick. If Isaac Hayes the third just follow me on Instagram, on Twitter.
Reasons to stay on Twitter. Follow him on Instagram.
I mean, I already followed him on Instagram, but I think he just followed me on Twitter.
I'm telling him to follow you on Instagram.
I mean, get me on Instagram. I'm trying to dip out of that Twitter realm.
I mean, B, you need to start using Instagram more. But I'll be cracking up at you because of your profile picture out here, like in a pool. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, what are you doing?
I first saw it, I was like, who is that?
What was that, Puerto Rico? I think that was my trip to Puerto Rico. And then renting out an Airbnb, had a pool, three condos in one property. I felt like I was living rich out there.
Insane.
Bus system was only $1.50. Man, I miss it out there.
1, 2. DC's never beaten the allegations. See, it makes me sad, man. It makes me sad. It just like I don't want it to be like this, but it just be like this. Because I might actually try to see if I can get somebody to like double check my data. Because now that we've kind of like put the nail in the coffin that we don't consider voodoo part of the set, like I feel as if at some point, like someone's gonna have to sit down and address the fact that like just double check our work, because if this is everything, goddamn, like it's looking rough. Because I need to actually I need to move the DC So White folder into the whatchamacallit. I might just like do this. I'm gonna do it like that. I'm gonna do it like that. I'm gonna call it the Authority. Fuck it. Because
See, that was my idea for the bottom part of the thing when you asked that. That's kind of indisposed.
I'm gonna move the DC So White files into the Black Comic Authority files, and then I need to drop a link. I need to drop a matter of fact. I'm just gonna do, instead of having it be to where it was like restricted to where it was just certain individuals, I'm gonna make it to where everybody can view it. And then I'm gonna do this. Make sure that I keep forgetting we have a sick Negro watching our server. There's that.
Oh yeah.
And that way everyone has that. I need to actually move the fandom video into the video files thing. And then there's that. All right, cool. And then I need to move. Did I put the blackout thing in the drive? That's the question. I don't think I did. Let me do that real quick. I don't think I did. There's that. DC so that's the list of all the shit, and the DC So White outline, and then there's the blackout doc also put in there. All right, cool. All right, so let me do the intro, and then we will get cracking. I swear, if I just got messaged by Isaac Hayes the Third, I'm gonna shit my bricks. Nah, I'm good. I appreciate you though. All right, cool. What's going on, good people of the internet? It is time once again for Comics Unmasked, the podcast where a bunch of folks shoot the breeze and talk about comic books and such. We are back once again for episode 43. We officially have more episodes than Miles Morales, but we are back once again to talk about everything when it comes to comic books and more when it comes to comic book news and things that are going on into the realm of things. And also, we have another great treat for a awesome comic book event. We are going to be talking about things like comic book speculation. We're going to be talking about comic book news, and as well as the release of Spider-Man, Superman. As you can see, I got the Sarah Pichelli cover, because I also got the Sanford Green cover sitting in my pile behind me because that shit was gas and I had to have it. But I'm actually getting another copy of the Sarah Pichelli cover, because that way I can like put it in a bag and board and make it look nice. But this was just my reader copy. But we're going to go ahead and jump into this, folks. Don't forget that you can listen to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, your mama's fridge, your calculator, all those great places. You can rate the show on Spotify and Apple. That way it moves us up in the algorithm. That way more people know this is the best comic authority show, that where you get the best news and reviews and interviews and things of that nature. That way you know the most about comic books. Because the thing that I want to stress is that this show is meant to be something that informs people and gives them the correct information about the industry. That way they are properly informed about what's going on. It's like hosted by Black and brown individuals. That way you have a outside perspective that isn't just folks that are just been baked into this, that is the same white faces that you always see. This is meant to be showing the fact that we've always been here. People act like we brand new, but I've been reading this shit longer than some of the people be out here talking like shit out here. So you can find us out here on the socials. That's what we do best. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, not Snapchat. What am I saying? TikTok, and you can make sure that you can follow us everywhere. My name is Jay Penumbra. To my left, we have the man who finally picked out his fro, because he did the whitest shit he could have possibly did and went camping. B Rex, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I just spent 3 days camping, one day making sure that my truck was all working so I could get back in time to come do a podcast. So I've been having fun. I got to touch grass and I got to read some Milestone out in the woods, which, like, if you don't get to read comics outside, just go outside and read a comic. It'll make you feel more connected to nature. It really does.
Mm, very nice, very nice, very nice.
I
And then
defended
we
you
have the
last
woman
week
who,
on the camping allegations, and now you had to say that in the whitest way ever.
Hey, listen, I have to have like 36% of my DNA be showing up sometimes. I gotta have a little bit of that whiteness
Like,
show
I
out.
defended you because camping is fun, but then you did that.
camping is fun, she says. I've been camping twice, and I just don't see the appeal. I don't see the appeal. Like, I'll go for like day trips out to nature, but I ain't trying to be out in nature like that. Like, I can't. It ain't for me,
I was
man.
a
I
Girl
can't do it.
Scout. I was camping all the time.
Ah, okay. You
Every
you were a
year.
cookie hustler. Okay, I see you. You were a cookie hustler.
You damn straight.
Mm. Well, as a representative of the cookie mafia, the mama who never sleeps, Tashi, how you doing?
Good. It's been I was gonna say restful day, but it wasn't restful because we had work to do. We had to fix pages, move pages, correct pages, add in pages that were missing in a 600 plus page book. But you know what? We got it done and it is now
Mm.
complete. So you know what? Productive is the word.
She working on that omnibussy.
hmm
Shout out hashtag omnibussy. We love omnibussies out here. People be out here
Yes.
hating on me. I stand by it. All right, let's go ahead and jump into some news for you folks before we get to the main topic of the evening. So, oh boy, here's we'll start with the fun one. We'll start with the fun one before we dive straight into it. Miles Morales has officially been announced to be getting a brand new ongoing. It is finally been announced. As many will know, I was very distraught when the last one was canceled. Cody Ziegler's run on Miles Morales was the hottest shit to ever hit a page. I thought it was the greatest shit, and no one could tell me otherwise. But sadly, they have continued the 42 rule with him and have canceled. And now, after about 6 months of waiting, we are getting a brand new series written by Brian Edward Hill with art by Nico Leone. And I am so excited. And Simone DeMeo on this beautiful, beautiful. I need to put this bitch on screen. Beautiful. Oh, I didn't prepare a freaking a thing. Hold on, where is it? Share screen. I didn't prepare a pre-slide. All right. Put this in here. But yes, look at this artwork by Simone DeMeo for the first cover. Look at it. It is my phone wallpaper right now. It is so damn good, and people need to quit sleeping on Simone DeMeo. Simone DeMeo is one of the best motherfuckers out here in the game when it comes to artwork, and I am just blown away. Like, I realized that this whole perspective is technically sideways, and that blew my mind even more. I was like, break my neck like a Busta Rhymes, like, what? And I was just like, it threw me for a loop. I am so excited to see Miles be getting a new book. They are hinting at the idea that we're going to be diving into his father's past as a SHIELD agent during this run. He's going to have a new crush at school, which, Miles, you ain't single. What you doing, bruh? You trying to get caught out here lacking? You trying to get out here and caught lacking like Clay Thomas, like Owen Thompson, whatever the fuck his name is? Like, what you doing, brother? What's going on? Man, if they break up him and Starling, I'm gonna be so
a whole
salty.
flashback of how they broke up. I guarantee you.
No, man, like they've been like the power couple, the black power couple in comics for a hot minute. They can't do us in a flashback. I'd be so mad, bruh. That can't be like that.
See, I would almost prefer a flashback than us having a whole issue of him having to deal with the breakup. Like, I would rather have them be like, all right, they're broken up and moving on to the next story, because I can't see Miles as heartbroken right now. I'm already being heartbroken having to wait another year for the Miles Morales movie. So, like, I don't need double heartbreak from Miles.
At least we know now.
I know, right? It felt like forever, and at least we got a trailer. At least we got a little trailer.
You know, at least we get more finally. So, like, we'll see what happens with that. I just like this is something that like I wanted to talk about because I made a video about it. I've wanted to talk about this. I really can't understand because we found out from an interview that the Spider-Verse writers did the Spider-Verse directors rather did, where they talked about the fact that the 42 gimmick not only comes from like the spider that bit him and the lottery number that he won to get into Brooklyn Visions, that comes from Jackie Robinson, which if that's the case, cool. But also I'm sitting here like, I don't care. Like genuinely, I don't care, especially when you're weaponizing the gimmick to shorten his runs. That's what I have a problem with because if
they wanted to do if they wanted to do something like fun and fancy with it and do like a Jackie Robinson homage to where they do 42 issues of like some of revolving around baseball or something, free idea there for you guys to do, you know? But like this gimmick just gets me frustrated for one, because as somebody who like looks at old Miles Morales sitting at my shop and I go, I'm very excited to pick these up one of these days and put them onto my shelf. It infuriates me because I'm a numerical guy. I'm going to hate to go up to 42 and then go back to 1 and then go up to 42 and then go back to 1 and then go up to 42, instead of it just being like, you know, can we just get our Miles Morales 150 by now and celebrate a giant 150 on there, instead of it just being like, oh, it's 42, we're gonna end the series and you get a new story.
Oh, here's an idea. Keep playing with the 42 Easter egg inside the book. Damn it.
Like what would be so hard about that? That's what I can't understand. It's the idea of like, you could easily weaponize the 42 in other ways. Hell, do you know what I haven't seen them do with that gimmick? Why not give us a Jackie Robinson homage trading card variant? Why not do something cool like that? What? Like do a cover, do something like cool like that. Don't keep weaponizing it to give it cool like short runs. Now, granted, does it make putting all of someone's run into an omnibusy easy? Yes, because all of Ahmed's run was put into an omnibusy recently, and I'm buying that next week for my shelf. And they're going to be doing that soon with Ziggler. That's cool, but you know what they did for Bendis's time on Miles? There's a volume 1 and there's a volume 2, because the volume 1 is all of Miles' stories when he was in the Ultimate Universe, and the volume 2 is the 28 issues and some change that he when Bendis was on the book during the Ultimate, when he first came to the 616. So it's like you can do a different structure and just have a volume 1 and a volume 2, because how many omnibus does it exist for Peter? Quit playing in my face. Like it doesn't make any sense. So hopefully we don't do this again. I'm excited. I'm hoping we don't do this again.
Sneak the number 42 into every issue somehow.
Ooh.
Do that. Here he's got a 42 on a card. Here he's got 42, something like the number 42 on a jersey. Just sneak it in there. In every issue, sneak the number 42 in the book. And then we can have more than 42 books, because you can keep doing that.
There could be a better way to go about this rather than shortchanging Miles. Like, does it seem cool in theory? Yes. But at the same time, when you really think about it, you're doing old dude dirty, and I'm not really fond of it. So I'm going to be trying to get Brian Edward Hill on the show, because I want to see what his thoughts are on the run. I want to get his thoughts on the issue of it being cut to 42. But given how his run on Ultimate Black Panther was, his run on Blade was, I know that Miles is in good hands. I'm excited. I just like I need the gimmick to stop. That's where I will leave that. That is just where I'm kind of fed up with the bullshit. Let's talk about the really complicated situation we are currently dealing with, because people are wondering if this nonsense is going to bleed into comic books. So let's dig into this. So Logan Paul, well-known fellow Ohioan / he moved to Puerto Rico or some shit, which annoys the hell out of me, because when he does his intros for WWE, he says he's from Puerto Rico, not Cleveland, and I'm like, dude, you're from Cleveland. Stop it.
Does that
But
surprise you though? Why he needs some kind of ultra identity to make him seem more, spicy, ethnic, interesting. I
but
still say, what
Mr.
the hell's
Maverick,
going on with me?
it's so annoying. But it's like well-known Viner slash TikToker slash YouTuber slash WWE superstar, podcaster extraordinaire Logan Paul has stirred up conversations in the nerd space because he made two very large purchases. He bought the first ever published edition of One Piece in Shonen Jump, as well as the first published piece of Dragon Ball in Shonen Jump for an exuberant amount of money, from what I was told. Let me see if I can find the amounts real quick. Yeah, he paid $550,000 for the Dragon Ball issue, and then I don't know if it says how much for the One Piece, but I believe it was something in the $400,000 range for the One Piece edition. Like that, they're fully graded, fully slabbed, and people are concerned that he is going to continue this kind of nonsense, and it might bleed into comic books because of how you have different grading like CGC and whatnot. I even have my first ever CGC book sitting back there that I just got back for the first time, Blade Crescent City Blues. But the conversation started to be is that we don't need grifters on this level of conversation coming into the space, because effectively, yes, there's a chance that he could be a true fan the same way technically he was a Pokemon fan. But at the same time, Logan inflated Pokemon card prices in insane ways when he was playing the Pokemon card hustle game, in the same way he would do crypto. He would pump and dump shit to where it would exuberantly raise prices. So people are concerned, especially with the fact that if you look at the beginning of the article, he was starting a beef with iShowSpeed on Twitter, where Speed said, "You're not even a real One Piece fan. You ain't never read One Piece." So then Logan responds by showing him reading One Piece, like the Shonen Jump One Piece book, which I don't know if he busted open the slab or got a second copy, but oh dear. But he's trying to flex and show that he actually gives a fuck. So people are wondering if this is going to happen and bleed into comic books, because I understand the concern. Because the last time speculation got real bad in comic books, the bubble burst in the 90s. And that was real problematic, to where all this shit lost value for a good long time. And we thought the industry was going to crash. And truth be told, especially with the variant cover game the publishers have been playing as of late, people are concerned that a bubble is going to burst again. So I want to get y'all's thoughts on this. Tasha, you seem to had your clip loaded before the show. How are you feeling about this entire situation? I am very intrigued to see.
That's because I can't stand this man or his brother. That's why. Because I said in the chat, I said, why is he even in the WWE? Why is he here? Why is he there? He don't know nothing. Them niggas actually train for years. Yeah, sure, the fights are staged and everything. That doesn't matter. They still know what the hell they're doing. Why are you here? I'm glad I don't watch wrestling anymore, because that would have pissed me off and I would have stopped. But they always do stupid stuff.
Yeah.
But his idiocy aside, I think it can affect us, but I think there are also some other things that they need to worry about a little bit more that are happening, that they better get that together on, because that's really what's going to burst the bubble if they don't fix
speak on it. What you got thoughts on? Speak on it.
No. I'm not going to, tell all of the behind the scenes business.
Ooh.
I just know they need to shape up if they want to not push the bubble. However, this man is an idiot, and I can't stand him. And he's
okay. Fair enough. B-Rex, what are your thoughts on this nonsense?
Well, I just think he's going to do what Logan Paul does, which is create some kind of fad and then drop the fad a year later and then allow all the fans in that community to just permeate and be toxic for however long. And then he reaches out another 6 years later to be like, I didn't endorse any of this. This wasn't what I intended the fan base to be. But yet, everything that he has ever set up within any fan base that he's ever entered has always followed toxicity. And I just see the same thing happening here within like the manga community, which is extremely sad because there's already toxicity in that community, but we don't need more of it, you know? And that's just the sad part because I just see this coming in and people being like, well, I'm the bigger fan. I'm the bigger fan. Well, I've read so many issues again. And then it starts this whole conversation over again instead of actually realizing that some of these things that you actually love are being tainted and corrupted at this point, and you don't actually get to enjoy it at what the original creator wanted it to be. And so that's kind of where I end up being because I just see him eventually. I could see it in like not even a year, maybe two, if like I'm lucky at this point. He's gonna pull out a Batman issue of like absolute Batman and be like, I've been reading it the whole time, but yet he's never brought it up a single time now. So like that's just kind of how I see his whole basics being, which I don't want to knock the guy if he ever gets interested into comics or gets interested in anime or anything like
it's
that.
It's the showboating.
It's the showboating. You got to be very careful on how you enter this community because a lot of people are just going to take your word as law. And then all of a sudden you got us three having to sit back here and be doing research to be like, well, no, this isn't actually correct. We gotta, this is when this happened and this is how this happened and this is how the industry comes out. But, you know, we're just gonna have showboaters come in and showboat. And I guess that's why he's in WWE because they just feel like they want to showboat right now with the presidency.
Well, and here's the thing. I could have a whole conversation about my feelings about him being the WWE and how it's really problematic and whatnot that he's still there. But at the same time, there's, and like B kind of hit the nail on the head too. There's a big difference, between a fan like say Method Man, somebody who is ride or die for the culture. Dude said straight up in an interview recently for a movie he was doing, where he said, I've been a little busy on my reading as of late, but like I've been really like hip to absolute Batman. And that was a conversation he had because we know for the culture, Meth narrated the Milestone documentary. Meth has been involved in the culture for years. Like the day I want to shake that man's hand one day so bad because like dude has been a comic book fan even when Wu-Tang was a thing. He was rapping about comic books and shit. So like that's how you can tell a real fan from somebody who's fake is that he's not just hopping on the trend now just because he's loaded and he can do fun shit. Or I'll even throw somebody else who's a wrestler like a bone, Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes was on a podcast recently where he mentioned he was a fan of comic books. Now, granted, he said his favorite comic book was Identity Crisis, and I had to side-eye him a little bit. And I was like, Cody, are you okay? Do you have some trauma where you like that women are just set on fire? But like,
how many times he's been hitting that?
That's fair. That's fair. He did have a busted eye last week, so he going through it. But like, I kind of sat there like, do you know what happened to Sue Dibney in that book, my guy? Like, there's some messed up shit in that book. Oh yeah, B hasn't read Identity Crisis, so that's something we need to have a conversation about later. Oh dear Lord, I think like bonus like Patreon material might be at some point is JP shows B-Rack's messed up comic books.
That would be great.
We don't know. Yeah, just let him read it.
Aside. I read it, and I will give just live reactions.
Because like him reacting to Infinite Crisis was just funny. He's like, so now I hate this man, and it was just perfect.
I understand all of the hate. It originates from this, and it makes perfect sense.
That's why it's so funny too. It's like so many individuals will give me shit for hating Prime, and I'm like, I'm gonna just hand you this trade paperback, and if you don't hate this man after reading this, I'm gonna question you. Like I'm gonna throw a shot at Wednesday Pool List. He told me like, look, I get why you hate him, but I enjoy him, and I'm like I enjoy what they've done with him, and I'm like, have you seen him punch off a black woman's face? Well, does that not seem problematic to you? Like, did you see him murdering like half a Green Lantern Corps? Will that bother you a little bit? Like, there's some things that I can show people that make you just hate Superboy Prime for the rest of your existence. I know they made him into DC's Deadpool now, but when you see him punch off a black woman's face as a small child, because I was like 8, I think I was 8 when Infinite Crisis came out, and I was just like, I hate this man. And it was funny too. Last night I did my 10K follower giveaway, and I like, as like the brain buster for like to win the absolute Batman giveaway. I was like, who's my most hated character in comic books? And someone guessed Damian Wayne, and I gave it to him like he's top 3. But I was like, they didn't guess Prime, and I was a little sad because Prime is the most hated.
I haven't been paying attention then. All I'm thinking is, if you like, his biggest showing is Infinite Crisis. That is where you're like, oh.
I think it's because everybody loves the idea of Deadpool that they immediately go, we want our own Deadpool in DC. And so the fact that they're like, oh, we have our own Deadpool, yay, he's like Deadpool, but they didn't make him as likable as Deadpool. That's the issue. I can go in and read a Deadpool issue and be like, I like this guy. He's loudmouth, he's a brat, he's terrible, but I could like this guy, With Superboy, I just feel like he needs to be in detention for the rest of time. That's just really what it is. He acts like a boy the entire time instead of being like a merc with a mouth. He's just a boy with an attitude.
He's just like,
he was characterized was already, he had a characterization. Yes, right. He could break the fourth wall and stuff because of where he was from, but we didn't need the Deadpoolification.
Yes, because like, if anything, he was more closer to Gwenpool, where like Gwenpool knows even more so she's in a comic book to where she doesn't give a fuck. But it's like, genuinely, when it comes to Prime, he is obnoxious, and now the Deadpoolification is just like, it would, like, I don't want to throw the Hitler idea into the mix, but once you see the carnage Prime has done, it's like, what if Hitler became Deadpool? Would you be okay with that? Like, that's kind of what I think about a little bit, where it's like, what if Hitler became Deadpool? Are we having the same conversation now? Like, does that make sense to you? Because when you see the carnage that was unleashed, it helps you understand. But like, when it comes to things like Meth has said, or like, I have seen James Gunn like mention comic book issues, and they'll spike on Key Collector, which I have the Key Collector. If you're not using the Key Collector app, I don't know what's wrong with you. That shit is like the best tool for looking up comic prices or knowing what books are speculating at hot tops and whatnot. Like, that is one of the best tools to know what's spiking. But Key Collector is one of my biggest tools for that. But like, you'll see when James Gunn mentions the book, or they show a trailer, or there's rumors on a set, or like we'll see behind the scenes photos, that's when you'll see a book shoot up in price. Like when we saw Mike Coulter on set, you saw his first appearance skyrocket for a little bit. Like, that's what I always love looking at for those kind of things. Or like, for some reason, because of all the shit going on with Punisher being an Amazing Spider-Man and stuff like that, that first appearance keeps sitting at around $2,000 recently because of the new Punisher special and shit like that. I enjoy when celebrities have that kind of leverage, but I hate the idea that because of the people that are associated with Logan Paul, we already have enough speculation going on in comic books. If the wrong people come into the market and utilize apps like Key Collector and start doing too much damage with the speculator market, that can have ramifications and likes we've never seen before, where the bubble could burst, where if they see a liking to the comic book industry the same way that Logan Paul likes the manga, if he slides in here like, hey, I like Spider-Man this week, and randomly we just see him with an Amazing Fantasy 15 or some shit like that, we're going to see problems. We're going to see problems be real quick up in here. And that could be really bad. And people aren't thinking of the ramifications of that. So we'll have to see. But I'm fearful of what could happen if the wrong people just start sliding in behind Logan because of this nonsense. So I'm fearful for the manga fans.
Yeah. And what's worse is, as a straight white man, no one will actually question whether or not he actually reads that shit.
Exactly.
They'll take it at face value and be like, yes, no 20 questions. You don't have to have 20 questions to come after you about your fandom. But anybody else, as soon as you say you like something, we got to interrogate you for 20 hours.
Hell, somebody tried to question me on comic sales charts this past week, and I'm like, brother, you don't know the knowledge that sits in my brain. You need to sit the fuck down. Like, you don't know who you're talking to. Now, granted, that isn't me trying to showboat, but it's the fact that I know so much about the industry that y'all motherfuckers don't got a chance. And there was even someone who was like in my comments last week who was like, I know you're trying to claim that you're an expert on comics. I'm like, I'm not no expert. I claim to be a historian because I like knowing comic book history, and I'm a great source for information, but I'm not an expert by any means. There's some stuff that I get wrong. I try to cite my sources when I can because I want to make sure that I have the right information in front of me, but I'm not an expert. And I will 100% always say that I'm not an expert. Hands down.
It's always fun being questioned on your knowledge when you're talking about stuff. And it's just like, oh yeah, this happened. And they're like, you don't even know what you're talking about. Oh yes, me, who read the book, who probably owns the books. I have no clue what I'm talking about.
It's hilarious to me, and it's like a perfect example of this, which is it's a perfect segue into our next topic because these goons be out here doing dumb shit. So, as we saw this past couple the last 24 hours, as what the show is recording, someone tried to assassinate the president, quote unquote, because that shit looked real stage, if you ask me, because I don't know how a random gunman was able just to wander through the White House, but
or how somebody was able to just be like, I'm recording right in the way.
I don't know how that was a thing. So
there were too many things that lined up for this to not be an episode of Scandal. I sat down, I got back from camping, I opened up my internet, and literally everything was just fed to me as if it was president was almost shot. There was a shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. They've shot the guy. They didn't really shoot the guy. They just stripped him down because they're looking for his weapons. Oh, now they're going to interrogate the dude. There were too many things that lined up for this to not be a setup. And especially at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, which I mind you, every person has attended in previous historical presidencies and never had an issue like this. Just decided this is going to be the time?
Yeah. Allegedly, I didn't see it. I didn't get a chance to actually click on and watch the video. Fox News slipped up and admitted it was staged. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was true.
Well, and what's funny is I know like there was an ongoing conversation that happened in regards to this where well-known comic writer Dennis Camp decided like said on Twitter that he put a sad emoji and put missed again. And while there were some people, shout out to Randy over on Twitter, like mutual of mine, said a genuine letdown. A lot of these idiots were really on Dennis's neck, trying to say that he doesn't respect the presidency. Why would you want him to be upset? There was someone who said, you're exemplifying everything wrong with modern comics. Or the fun one, the shout out to Comic Book Media Cringe over on Twitter, he put, someone said, pretty sickening to see a writer I once admired wishing death upon the president of the United States. And to think I bought Absolute Martian Manhunter to support your work. Never again. And someone conveniently commented, which I was going to say this.
With their eyes closed.
Like someone said, what do you think Absolute Martian Manhunter is about? Or anything Camp has written? You guys read for pretty pictures and that's it. And dude said, I never got the impression that he has anti-American from his writings. And I'm just sitting here like, oh my God.
People read comics with their eyes closed.
I don't understand why people like here. This goes back to what we talked about last week on the show. Comic books have always been political. People with different political messaging are able to talk about things. And someone even put this in the replies of CBM Cringe's post. Literally in Dennis Camp's work, he has talked about fascism in his books and yet for some reason, conveniently, people just like,
No,
I don't see that.
That's different.
That is super discreet.
Nazis are bad.
The Nazis are bad. We
That's
know
not
this.
America.
This isn't political whatsoever. This is in Germany where none of this
right
happens.
Political.
Right. This is the right political in which we like to see. That's out of the United States that we don't have to think about here. Like, I don't get how these people can walk on this planet and function. I really do not understand it, because you cannot pick up absolute Martian Manhunter and think that any of this isn't political. He goes through mental health. He goes through there's propaganda with cops. I believe, if I remember correctly, the first issue of the Martian Manhunter series has cops killing their like significant others because it talks about the mental health of what cops are having to go through. Like, if that isn't the beeline to political, I haven't learned anything in my years of living on this planet, because I just have, that's the layout for you. I can't lay it out any better than that. Like, people, he writes literally what he's been seeing, and literally what we've been seeing is political, because everything we do in this world ends up being political. I just don't get how people can't see that.
It rots my brain, and I will say this, and this is going to be really interesting. I'm interested to see what develops over him saying this when it comes to the outrage culture of Twitter / the grifter media apparatus, because I bet you by Monday, Bounding for Comics or whoever, or Cosmic Cosmic Resources is going to say something. But given what happened the last time there was an assassination attempt, I think it's going to be really interesting to see if DC / and or Marvel says anything about this, because there's going to be some people that might say that DC's transphobic if they don't do anything about Dennis. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. You ain't gonna put those words in my mouth.
Saying that. I could be the one saying that, because like, what the hell, DC? Like, I was excited for a Red Hood issue. This would have been the first Red Hood issue that I can jump on and be like, okay, let's see what goes on here. And then you guys just take it from me just because you guys don't like a tweet, because you guys had your fifis hurt. It kind of sounds a little woke to me. DC. Kind of sounds like you're going for the mob justice like all the other side talks about, instead of standing on your guns about something. So I can get on my platform and I'll say it every day of the week.
Tashi, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was just like,
Well, like, here's the thing. I stand very firm on the fact that legally, I can't say DC's transphobic because they use the scapegoat of, oh no, we parted ways, which y'all can say what you want about that. I'm not like, I think I'm just saying it's real suspicious that within 24 hours, DC ain't said shit about Dennis Camp, but they did this to Gretchen Felker Martin. I think it's real messed up. Now, and I will stand 10 toes down. The writing of that first issue was very mixed. And especially with the fact that old girl admitted in an interview that she had never read a comic book before, let alone a Red Hood comic before, and then jumped on this because she had wrote some crime novels. If the book would have been canceled because of low sales down the road, I ain't got nothing to say. If you ain't got beef with her, if you got beef with her because of low sales, I ain't got nothing to say. But you cannon her over her being happy that as someone who wished ill upon trans people and black people and etc., y'all did that, and y'all looking real transphobic. I ain't saying you are transphobic, but you're looking real transphobic is all I'm saying.
One of the things too is what they could have done is they could have just let it get to its 5 issues like they've been doing with everything else, and then just let it drop. Nobody would have even have bat an eye at it or anything like that. But for some reason, you guys have to cancel this one at 1, but you'll let all of the other ones go for their 5-issue runs, and nobody's buying those.
Man, this sounds like a whole conversation we had. Anyway.
Ooh. Well, just know some stuff's in the works, y'all. Get ready till next month. But I just wanted to comment on that because I thought it was real suspect that the goons were out saying this, and I think Dennis Camp is an amazing writer. I think what he's doing in the industry is phenomenal, and I think the chuds need to get over themselves. But
so we don't disagree with him, like.
Yeah, we don't disagree with him. Like, they're like, hell, shout out to Comic Kirby on Twitter. He straight up went in Dennis Camp's comments and was like mission failed. We'll get him next time. And I was cracking up.
Not to Call of Duty.
Like he straight up put the gif. I was cracking up. But and Dennis was even like, people are really passionate about darts because he put up a dartboard and someone made a dartboard artwork of a Martian Manhunter for him, which I thought was hilarious. But it's just, I don't know. The fake outrage is hilarious to me, and I think people need to get over that. They need to build a bridge and get over it. Is the end all be all for that. I think people need to learn how to mind their business and quit. Because here's the thing, and the thing about it too is, this isn't the first time people have done stupid shit like this before when it comes to comic creators, because I can count on two hands the amount of times I've seen. There's probably been more, but I've seen several times that these creators have, or these fans, quote unquote, have gone after comic creators for their political opinions. Perfect example is Scott Snyder. The fans on Twitter have been rabid about Scott Snyder not being down with Trump. And it's been hilarious seeing them just wake up, because they want to do that shut up and dribble talk and be like, just write your comic book. Stop trying to shove politics in our faces. I'm like, brother, there's politics in this book right here that I'm holding. There's politics in this book right here that I'm holding. Lex Luthor tries to frame J. Jonah Jameson for murder, and it's right here in this book.
Right there.
What do you mean?
And then JJ is still an ass, but you know.
It's just real entertaining. Yo, shout out to Orange Phoenix in the chat, man. I appreciate you, big dog. But I thought it was really funny, and I wanted to bring up the fact that grifters have been spotted with they dumb shit, and it's just real comical to me that they want to be out here throwing shade at people. So all right,
say that people are never beating the allegations that they don't actually read comics. I can't. I just.
It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. But let's go ahead and jump into the main topic of the evening, folks. Spider-Man and Superman is the follow-up to the DC Comics books, Superman and Spider-Man, and this was interesting. Initial impressions. As a complete book, this is better than the last one. I will say that.
I agree.
As a complete package, this is better than the last one. However, I will say that the reading experience was better in the last one because I was still kind of high off of the Mark Waidisms. The Mark Waidisms felt like it felt like that first sip of whiskey, or like that first glass of whiskey where I'm riding real good, and I can numb myself through the rest of the book. Now, granted, that's not to say Brad Meltzer doesn't do a good job of his main Superman and Spider-Man story. Like, it's really good. The Venom shit had me rolling. I was like, that was unexpected. That was interesting. But the overall situation of it, I will say on initial read, I think the like as a complete package, it's a great ride. Everything, like bar for bar, every story minus one that we'll talk about. It like the whole thing is a great ride. But I think the Mark Waidism of the previous one gave me more of a better read overall, if that makes sense, where I enjoyed the full ride of that other one more just off the Mark Waid. Because, like, perfect example, I was listening to the Kingdom Come audiobook recently off of Spotify because I've been like really enjoying listening to that. And there's something about you can really hear the Superman music in the way Mark Waid writes, where it like he harnesses that like old school vibe that really like gets the comfort in you, the dun dun dun, dun, dun like that, like that really good, or you even hear the orchestral Spidey theme when he's writing those two together. Like it's all like the best way I can describe it is like how during the Power Rangers SPD Dino Thunder team up, where they mixed the theme songs together, like actually it was the Dino Thunder Ninja Storm team up, where they mixed the theme songs perfectly together. Like that's the vibe that I get from Mark Waid. But at the same time, to echo another Power Rangers team up, the Time Force Wild Force team up is what I get from this, where it's just a better complete package. Where I wrote the whole thing through, but I enjoyed the high you gave me from the last one, if that makes sense. That's the best way I can describe it. That's my overall thoughts. B, how did you feel reading this? How did you feel, sir?
Overall, I enjoyed it. I felt like it was the best way for me to describe it is a watered down Superman with still good sense of hope, because it felt like it was everything that I would have gotten from a Superman story, but told from the perspective of a Marvel world, you know? Because I feel like DC likes to get real in depth and descriptive with a lot of their stuff when it comes down to how, you know, they portray these characters, because obviously they've had them for a lot longer and they know these characters in and out because they have the encyclopedia book in the DC vault somewhere. Versus Marvel, it felt like it was an homage to it, which I almost preferred better just because it felt like if I were to give this to somebody, it's a good jumping on point versus me giving them the previous one and they almost feel like they need to have a in-depth knowledge of some of these characters to actually know what happened in this crossover. And most people, I could have handed them the Marvel one and they'd be like, oh, Spider-Man, Superman, Lana Lang, I've at least heard these names a couple of times, versus being like, okay, now I have to figure out who oh my gosh, Xavier's sister is real quickly to see what's going on with that mind meld stuff that's happening in the end of that issue. You know, like there's some people who just need certain jump on points and other people who have different jumping on points. That's kind of how I felt like this one was. I felt like it was easier to digest. I could just get into it super easily. But at the end of the day, I was more of like, oh, good stories. I'm going to go back to my DC now, though.
Okay. Tashi, how you feeling?
You know what? First off, what up, Malcolm? In the chat. I'm gonna be, it's usually not me, it's usually B, but I'm gonna be the outlier. I actually enjoyed this this one more. The Superman, the Spider-Man Superman crossover part. I actually liked this one better. I love both. I feel like they both embody the characters very well. They both show off for me specifically Spider-Man in a way that's really good and well done, because people forget what he's capable of a lot of the time. But I don't know, there's just something about this one for me that I just enjoyed the read. I think I also liked that we got a little bit more. It was a little longer than the one in the Superman Spider-Man one was. And just kind of overall, I think this was just a more fun read for me. And maybe that's what I just needed some Marvel fun for a little bit.
Okay, that's valid. Yeah, that's totally valid.
A lot of DC lately.
Yeah, there's been a lot of DC lately.
I can give that.
So, you know, like the first story, I will say it was really good. I enjoyed what Brad Meltzer brought to the table with this. It was a really good read. I think that the idea, I will say, I really thought this shit was just some weird metal contraption. And then, nah, bitch, it's Venom. I was like, what? That caught me off guard. I really was just vibing with it. And I like the fact that it was Venom, because that was the idea, like, oh, that's why Peter can't figure out what it is. That's why like his spider sense didn't go off. That was an interesting way to go about that, I will definitely say. The speech here that like Clark asks him why he does what he does felt real similar to the last one in a way, where he's like trying to encourage Peter to keep going when he's under the rubble. And I like, how do I say this? I think my one critique of both of these is it felt like low-hanging fruit to do in both of them. Peter has to hold up some shit to show how strong he is. I was like,
That's the favorite.
Yeah, like I see y'all like that one a lot. Like you showing that Peter likes to hold up stuff to show how powerful he is. Like even Superman, this one is like, your bone structure shouldn't be able to do that. How do you do that? It's like, I thought that was like very dynamic in that way. But I very much enjoyed this. I will say Venom Superman was a cool shot. Like that was
I was thrilled to see that. I was jumping out of my seat, sitting there being like, we get a Venom Superman. Yes, I need these. Like, I love the crossovers.
For a little while.
The crossovers are what I love. I love just the little, like, here's a story of a crossover, and then we're on to something else, and seeing that Venom Superman, it makes me go, I need to go buy a figurine of that. Yeah, like, congratulations, you guys can make the money. Yep, I need the Funko Pop of this now.
No, I need a statue of that one, not the.
There we go. Yeah,
Pop's too cute. I need the statue.
Like especially the whole way where he's doing like the whole like grab with the claw hands at him. I need like just give me that whole pose as a statue. Yes, just give me that whole pose as a statue. Like that'd be so good to see. Like I know we'll never get it because it would be like a pain in the ass trying to figure out the licensing for that. But that would be such a crazy thing to get. And I would love it to death. The way it ends though, with the talk at the gravesite, and then May and Jonathan and Martha meet, that's some wholesome ass shit right there.
That is what I was expecting from the Pa and Uncle Ben one from the last issue. Like that's the heartfeltness that I was expecting. Like I got to that issue and I got to that part of the story and I was just like, man.
There we go.
They're really pulling at my heartstrings here. This is what I read comics for, to really just hit you right in here, As much as I love seeing this, it hits you here is where it really counts.
I ain't gonna lie, I read comics to see niggas die, but I like heart stuff too.
But that just I very much was like that. Like this story feels so good. And it like I think as a good story, it definitely measures up there. I like if I had to really like get my perfect vision of this, I want to take the whole Ma and Pa Kent thing and the Aunt May thing and staple that to the end of the Mark Waid one. Like I would be in heaven. I'd be in heaven because like it fits so perfectly in the best way, but I still understand why we got it the way we did. And it's fine. I respect it, but that's my one thing that I definitely wish we did a little differently there. But then from there, we go into all the other stories. The noir one, it's fine. Like that, like it's just it's good. It's not bad. It's just
it was made for us to remember our childhood because they used the Superman from the cartoon, which kind of made me be like, oh, a little bit.
That's how I felt.
I missed that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I recognize this. It felt like it was the nostalgia pull, It was like, here's something from like Spider-Man Noir. Here's some older Superman stuff. And then we're going to give you a little taste of like futurist kind of feel to it. So that way, it feels all cohesive. And so it was a story.
No, it's a story. It's a good, wholesome, done in one type of vibe. But like it's all right. And Dan Slott came in, did his job, and got out. And I'm okay with those sometimes. Sometimes having those kind of stories are good, and some people can get enjoyment out of them. I enjoyed the read. I thought it was fun. I loved hearing the Jameson vibes in it. It was fun. Like when reading it, I could hear the truth. Justice the American way in the background of the Superman section. Like I could hear that. It was fun in the moment, but like, I don't know, like it was just fine. Now,
Jonah's mustache in that one though.
Really? I was like, why though does JJ look like Hitler?
Why? Like that was a choice you did.
That was the only thing. He's not that.
Like we got 2 Hitler mentions in one episode. Isn't that crazy? But like that was just now. The Lana and Gwen Stacy story. I will say this. This is my one thing that I will say. This is what I wanted from the Lois and Mary Jane one. That being said, is it perfect? No. But is it what I wanted out of the Lois and Mary Jane one? Yes. I expected.
Yes,
yeah. Okay. Elaborate. Go for it.
like I love the, they're women, they're obviously being feminists right now, but we did it again where
Mm,
it's like, yeah, we're women, we're feminists, and we're talking about our guys.
mm,
We are once again, the focus is not on them, the focus
mm,
is on Clark and Peter.
mm.
I want to see the girls do some shit.
Thank you. Thank you. This is one of the things that infuriates me because it would be so nice to just see our women characters actually interact like people out there because they had
Mhm.
a good setup. And I don't mind them
Right.
talking about their superhero boyfriends. I talk about my
Yeah.
girlfriend constantly to my friends. So, like, that's a normal everyday conversation. But
Right.
if it's, oh, my girlfriend did this. Oh, my girlfriend's so wonderful. Oh, my girlfriend did this and did this and then did this. Most people are going to start calling me a simp at that point. But for some reason, when we decide to vice versa, we go, oh, this is good writing. This makes sense.
Right.
We'll throw
It's
this
like
into the pages.
how did we get from feminism as talk to
Mm.
now we're literally just going to talk about these guys? Yeah, didn't y'all have more important things to talk about just a second ago?
Mm.
Exactly.
It's very interesting. The artwork is good though. I will say that, but like I will say this as a package. This is what I would have wanted out of the Mary Jane and Lois story, but the setup, the writing is a little bit of a mixed bag, but the setup is what I would have preferred from a Mary Jane and Lois story.
Yes.
That's what I would say about that. It's definitely, if I had to really put a label on it, it's the weakest story out of the whole package in terms of overall. Because the rest of this, like, I have almost no complaints. I like everything. Like, I'll even say this. Firstly, before I say anything else, believe Ray Fisher. Hashtag believe Ray Fisher. Ray Fisher was right. But also Jeff Johns in this thing with Gary Frank and Ben Grimm. I'm a sucker for a good Ben Grimm story. I will wholeheartedly admit that. One of my favorite comic books of all time is I forget what Fantastic Four number it is, but it's during Civil War when Ben Grimm just kind of says, "Screw you guys both. I'm going to France because I'm tired of all y'all shit. Like y'all all doing dirty." So that is definitely like something that really means a lot to me. I love when Ben Grimm's written well. As much as I dislike having Jeff Johns be involved in this and not answer for his nonsense, Jeff Johns and Gary Frank did give me a good package here. And the story of Ben being involved in showing Superman calm down the Hulk was crazy. No fist thrown and calming down the Hulk was crazy. I was very caught off guard by that. I thought the setup for this was really good. I thought the artwork by Gary Frank was top tier. And also shout out to my boy Connor Kent for getting his t-shirt look back. I hate all you haters who be saying he needs his 90s suit. You can kiss my ass. I love t-shirt Connor, and I all y'all can kiss my ass. But I really enjoyed the overall package. This is one of those few times that I had to go because of it being. It's the same thing with the Tom King thing, where like, do people have critiques of his nonsense? Yes, but it's still part of an entire package that I have to review, and I can objectively say this is a good story, and I enjoyed it. Thoughts, folks? Thoughts?
Dang, I think you hit it. I did love all the little random characters we got to see in the background too, though. That I don't see very often anymore for some of them. So that was nice. That's my only addition. I think you hit that. I'm a fan of the thing.
As somebody who like is coming into the Fantastic Four still, figuring out like all of the characters and all of the world that they get to have on that building of the side of the family for Marvel, the Thing has easily become my favorite. That's just hands down. He's the most lovable character. He's the most wholesome. I can connect with this character so much more just because he's the Thing. He knows how to act like a human being and be as tough as a rock when he needs to be for battle, but then he opens up like a flower whenever he needs to be just, a good guy. And then just the way that this issue was presented, it felt so like opening to me because I feel like that's the thing about the Thing is that he's willing to grow as a character. He's not one of those characters that are so stuck in his ways and being like, these are how things are supposed to be done, to where he goes, even somebody else was able to calm down the Hulk, right? Exactly. This is what I love about Marvel in general, is because they do a really good job at growing some of their characters, you know? And the thing is, one of them.
I will say, and this is one of this with Geoff Johns, damn it, you gave my girl Courtney a moment with Captain America, and I appreciated you, and that's fine. But god damn it, you just couldn't help yourself to give Hal Jordan one panel. You just couldn't help yourself, you stupid. Anyway, I have a hatred for Hal Jordan that will never not be expressed. But like, damn it, I love seeing Courtney Whitmore get to have a moment with Cap. That meant a lot to me. But it's just, that's why I like.
That's mostly who I was referring to, not even gonna lie.
Yeah, it's like problematic people are a mixed bag, where it's like I love some of your work, but I also dislike some of your work, and I also dislike some of the things you've done, where I'm just like, oh.
I meant as far as random characters, Stargirl was literally mostly who
right. Also, the idea that Saturn Queen and Mysterio teaming up, that's such an interesting premise for a book. Like, who'd have thought? Like, that's a very interesting idea. Also, the idea that like Ben takes donuts to very cool. The idea that Ben takes donuts to Bruce, that meant a lot to my heart. I love that.
I loved that. That melted me at the end.
Ben is a sweetheart. That's why.
Yep.
I would like in all, but no, like the more you read Fantastic Four, like there's gonna come a time where you finally sit down and read Jonathan Hickman's Fantastic Four, and your brain's gonna explode, and you're gonna need like 5 minutes to recover from how complicated that shit is. But one of my favorite comic books of all time will always be the issue after the death of Johnny Storm. I believe it's 588. Where it's just a silent issue of a comic book. It's just a silent issue of a comic book where everybody has to deal with the passing of Johnny Storm. And oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, I just pulled it up on Unlimited. Let me flip the screen. So like it's a silent issue. And it's drawn by Nick Dragotta. That's where
this shot of the thing comes from. Then on that next page that you go over, I see that second panel everywhere.
Like this whole panel is like right after Johnny Storm stayed to defend because this whole incident happens where somebody opened the door to the negative zone, and it was right during a time period where like there's just this random occurrence every once in a while where Ben gets to be depowered and be human again for like a day. And it just so happened to be that day, and Reed and Sue were off world doing something else, and like all the kids were being babysat by Johnny and Ben. But then the negative zone gets opened, so Johnny has to stay behind to lock it up and hold it back, and Ben can't help him and break open the portal field. So Johnny passes, quote unquote, and everyone's coping with the problem with that. And like Sue comes home and is just like fuck, and this whole issue is so great. Like this will forever be one of my favorite panels in the history of comic books, like pages. Trauma.
That's crazy. The fact too that you're able to do an entire comic book without having like words put in there, that it's like a silent film almost, and you're just able to everything from the artwork. Like that is ambitious for one, but also like the fact that they were able to put that out and have the artwork signify everything so perfectly that like I could even put in my own words at this point and have a dialogue that's going on between these two people, and it would probably come up close to what these people were trying to get to, you know, the meaning of what it was supposed to be. And her orb, like her separating herself like right there, just is perfect representation of how like depression works, to where someone could be there for you and you're still just in your bubble, you know.
I love this next shot because like Reed opens the vault to try to get a tool to crack open the negative zone portal, because like, and he cracks that shit open and it's like, bitch, I will kill you, give me Johnny. And Annihilus is just like, nah, bitch, eat a dick. And it's like,
Annihilus. Essentially, he gave him the finger.
Yeah. And then one of my favorite pages in the history of comic books to this day, like my favorite sequences, is Ben gets up from the funeral, goes off, and what I even also like Doom even shows up for a minute, and like no one even says anything, like no one even questions it. Like that's pretty cool too. But like straight up, Donald Blake and Bruce Banner like tell freaking like they're the ones that are the ones to tell like show Johnny's will, because what we end up finding out is Johnny wants Peter to join the Fantastic Four in his stay if he ever passed away. But Ben pulls up to them because like they were also told that if Johnny dies, they're the ones that get to tell Ben this, or like show him the will. And look what has to happen, because Ben's on his bullshit upset. They like have to crack it open, and Bruce has to turn, and they all have to cope with Ben being upset and in his trauma. And dude even throws the Fantastic Car and everything. And then the whole shot is just Bruce having to hold Ben and Thor crying. And I was a mess when I read this for the first time. I was a mess. Like, it's just
that did lead into Future Foundation, which I absolutely love.
Hickman didn't play with Future Foundation. That shit was good. It's just like that shit was. It's just insane. And like Reed's not sleeping. Reed's a mess. And he's like, all right, bitch. And then randomly his dad shows up, and that leads into Future Foundation, which is hilarious. Oh, and then the only speaking sections of the whole book is Peter talking to Franklin about grief. And it's so powerful to this day. I love it. Like, so I just like, I loved the way they expressed that, and it kind of mimics how good of a character Ben Grimm is. And I wanted to like show that off a little bit.
Hell yeah.
Then we have just wholesome hammer time, as I like to call the next story. Wholesome hammer time, because Louise Simonson gets to come in here and just be a badass and show how good of a writer she is, because she just goes, I created Steel, I'm a stunt, and I'm gonna show how good I love Steel, and I also wrote Thor, so we're gonna have some hammer time at Hobgoblin's expense. And it's just good. It's just good. I love it. I have no complaints. Just solid thoughts.
Y'all. I just have to point out, Marvel did what DC couldn't, and that's put a black DC character in their comic book. Like last month, they could have thrown us a Steel. They could have thrown us a Steel and been like, "Oh yeah, here's your black character, by the way, from our property." From
it's almost
our
like they have Black Superman equivalents they could have used.
Right? But for some reason, Marvel goes, "Oh, wait, here's your Black Superman. We'll give you a Black Superman. There you go. He's not even our property. Let's get a hold of him and write a story for you guys."
Hell, you know what I thought of after we did that episode for the last one? You know what would have been so convenient as like a multiversal story, the same way they did the Future story with Clark, Batman Beyond, and 2099. They could have just did Spider-Punk and Val-Zod. Like you know how convenient that would have been for a multiversal story, because Val-Zod comes from Earth too. You know how convenient that would have been. Like, hey, my universe is different from this one. My universe is different from this one. Let's have fun. Like,
that sounds too much like right. It's intentional at this point.
Right? It really does.
Not to have at least one story.
It's just crazy to me. And the fact that like Louise Simonson, a white woman, comes in here and just gives us such a wholesome like story about Thor and Steel throwing hammers is just so convenient to me. Like,
just doing an experiment.
It was fun. It was fun too. I loved it. The artwork too. One of my favorite ones was this corner, this side panel right here, when they're all just like coming down. I'm just like, yes, this is what I like to see between the like two workings of the superheroes with hammers. It just works, you know. But
love it.
DC was so lacking. Good. That's another reason why I feel like this one was better, just because I had so much more fun reading through these.
Yeah.
Then we have Stephanie Phillips stunting and doing her thing with Ghost Spider, Gwen Stacy, and Supergirl. It's short, it's convenient. They just team up a little bit to fight Livewire. They both can't stand each other, and I think it's funny. But it's like just super small, convenient. Stephanie gets a couple pages. I ain't got no complaints. Like, Stephanie did her thing. Perfect.
I've
like
been
I
a fan
yeah.
of hers for a little bit now, jumping onto her She-Hulk. I'm getting ready with her Daredevil and everything. I've been loving that. And this one, just as good. Just as good. It gives me the sweet feelings and everything. And then I love at the end where she signs, where Supergirl signs the comic book or signs the autograph and everything. And she's like, I hate her, but
I like her.
her. Kinda gotta like her.
Very solid. Then we have Bendis himself walking in the room. As you can see, I have my Spider-Man, my Miles Morales license on the wall. If anyone wants to question my credentials, this is very Bendis. This is very. Let me rephrase. This is Bendis 2016 specifically. This is Bendis 2015, 2016, where he's like, "Hey guys, remember I created Miles Morales?" And that's not a bad thing, but it was very obvious during the time of Civil War II, Defenders, Guardians of the Galaxy, X-Men, when he was juggling like 6 books, 5-6 books at a time, and he was sort of phoning in stuff, or like, because he was writing, it was like Iron Man, Defenders, Civil War II, Miles Morales, all at the same time. And he was just kind of phoning it in for a good chunk of all of that. And everyone kind of sounded the same. They didn't really sound different. And this is what that is to me, where it's like, yeah, you can this reads like Miles. This reads pretty solid. And like you don't see him without a mask at all, which was kind of like that was a missed opportunity from Sarah Pacelli. I don't know why they did that. But it's solid enough to where I have no beef. I enjoy the way Bendis wrote Superman in this compared to the rest of his Superman run, because it feels more Superman-esque to me, versus when they were like, hey, John, let's go off into space with your grandfather for a few years, who was supposed to be the villain of the DC Rebirth plot, but Danny Dio rewrote it. Let's go off into space, John. I was like, huh? So I had no beef with it, but I know these two are capable of better. It was good, but not great, if that makes sense.
No, yeah.
I can agree with that. It felt like I was just thrown into the middle of a Miles story. That's just kind of how it felt. It was like, here's a quick Miles Morales, like, quirks and funness that you would get with this character, and kind of seeing what this character is about, and then I'm dipping out. And can't complain. It's a quick, it's one of those things. It's like, I just had a good corn dog.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. As I say, I think it reads like Miles because Bendis is the original writer of Miles. And so even though it's been a while and he's definitely been improved upon, we know how he writes Miles and how he was when he first came out. So it's like, okay, I'm used to this.
Right. Then we have Jason Aaron and Russell Donnerman on Jane Foster Thor and Wonder Woman. And god damn, this is still like I will say as well, I will throw rocks in the same direction when I have to. This very much felt like Jason Aaron going, hey guys, remember that I gave Jane Foster the hammer? Like the same way I gave shots at Bendis, I'm gonna give shots to Jason Aaron. He's doing the same thing here, and that's not a bad thing. But at the same time, it's like, you get a few pages and that's like you don't do anything else creative with this. I will say, Russell Donnerman, man, draws Wonder Woman gorgeously.
Yes, it was fantastic.
Like, his Wonder Woman is top tier, beautifully done. I have like I was very impressed by this, and I will say, you could have given me a whole book of Jane and Diana teaming up, and I'd have loved it. I will say, though, I'm still waiting for my Carol Diana book. Give me a whole Carol Diana book, and I'm on. Or like the next crossover just needs to be Carol and Diana. Like, I know because of popularity, it'll probably be Carol and Storm, not Carol and Storm, Diana and Storm, but I would prefer it be Carol and Diana, because it needs to be them stunting against each other a little bit and then teaming up, because I need fireworks, damn it. I need fireworks. I need y'all throwing fists to the galaxy. Like, give me some good magic, damn it.
Yeah. I will say Jane Foster was an interesting curveball, though. I will admit, I did. Storm.
Yep, I did like the fact that Wonder Woman was able to see Jane as her like true self and everything like that. That really helps me bring more of the like acceptance to Wonder Woman for everything that I've been getting for the past like couple of years. I love seeing Wonder Woman just be that authentic, like, I see you for you. I don't need any magic lasso. I'm Wonder Woman and I understand your soul and who you are. Like, thank you for that. I just appreciate the Wonder Woman love there.
Very
I
much
do
so.
I do appreciate that. I love the lead-in, honestly. Most of it was great.
Yeah,
The only thing with
most
me was
definitely.
they were throwing bets at who they thought it was. It was like, Batman's just mad at you for stealing Thor's hammer. Sir, what the hell are you on about?
Also, hey guys, we got 3 Negroes in this book because Jon Stewart's in a panel. Yay!
Yeah, he showed up. Yeah, you know what? That they did more than DC did.
They did more than DC.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. Like the most we got in the last one with DC was.
Wait, but also remember, you could see half of Nubia in another panel.
Oh, so 5 because Cloak is in the Jason Aaron story.
Oh yes,
so
five.
five Negroes in a whole book. Technically, and the Miles gets 2 appearances because he's in the Gary the Jeff Johns ones too. So we get 5 whole Negroes in the black story. Like, isn't that crazy? DC,
we got 5 times more than what DC gave us.
Only one of them really
4
mattered.
times we had 2 black children, but like in terms of heroes, 5 times more than DC, which is insane to think. Then, okay, so I purposely prepped for this last story. Because I need to throw beef justifiably. Y'all ready for this? Jeff Loeb. I need you to come to the front. I need you to come to the front of the class. Jeff Loeb. We know you really like to talk about Stephanie. No, not Stephanie. Right? We know you really like to talk about Gwen Stacy and Peter's trauma, but did you need to put it in the crossover?
Yes.
He got what? 2 pages with him and Jim Chung, and he just really had to do him and Peter talking about Gwen. And I'm just sitting here like, because to this day, I will say this, I will die on this motherfucking hill. If anyone wants to see the best of Jeff Loeb's work, Fallen Son, The Death of Captain America. This is a book that I feel like anybody going through grief or just every comic fan needs to read, because this is right after Civil War. And this is the fallout of everybody in the Marvel universe coping with Steve passing. And it's multiple different stories, because you have Logan dealing because Logan has, I forget what Logan is. It's like every issue is a different stage of grief. But Peter's, if this will load because it's being slow as molasses, I think it was acceptance or something like that. I forget what it was. But the whole story is about freaking like Peter going to Uncle Ben's grave and Gwen Stacy's grave and coping with the loss of Steve and whatnot, and Wolverine goes after him because he left the poker game, and Wolverine confronts him like, quit being a bitch. And Peter's like, I'm sorry. I don't think I gave you permission to call me a bitch. And they started having a back and forth. And Peter has to go up against Rhino and remember a time when him and Captain America teamed up against the Hulk. And it's a whole thing. And it's beautifully drawn. Like, oh my God, it's so beautifully drawn.
That series, and now I feel I definitely have to.
It's
also,
so good.
How does Logan think he talking to about being a bitch?
Like, it's so funny too. Like, when you read it, it's so well done. And like, there's this whole moment where Logan makes up this whole story about like because he tries to cheer Peter up and be like, when we were trying to figure out if you should join the new Avengers and yada yada, I was like Captain America was one of the ones that stuck up for you and yada yada. So you should quit being a bitch and cheer up. And Peter's like, wow, that is a load of bullshit, because I was in the Avengers before you. And I was like, damn, you clocked him real good. Like, let me like it was so, like it was like right
nerve.
It was like
No.
right here. It was like right here. He's like, when Cap was putting together the new Avengers, your name came up. A few of us thought you weren't the right fit, that you were Avengers material. But Cap laid down the law. He told us how you'd saved the day over and over without taking credit, how you had the stuff of heroes. And Peter is just like, you a baby back bitch. And I was like, dang. But what's so funny is like right after Peter calls him on his shit, he straight up just goes, "Nah, bitch, I know about trauma." And he does this whole breakdown of like how trauma feels like a cannonball going through your chest that never fully heals, and it's so well articulated. That's why I say like Loeb is good when he's on point, but like I read this 2 pages and was just like,
why?
Did you really need to go there, Loeb? Did you really need to go to that damn bridge again?
Traumatize us. That's what it was.
I specifically needed to bring that up for the final page because I was just like, did you need to go there, Loeb? We've been here before, Loeb. Did you need to go here again? Like it felt unnecessary is the best way I can put it. It felt unnecessary.
Honestly, from what it felt like to me, I've been going through the whole like Spider-Man trailers getting released, all of TikTok being so happy that Peter's depressed again. And then I get to this final issue and I'm like, yay, more sad Peter, which don't get me wrong, the majority of the Spider-Man stuff I do read, Peter is dealing with some kind of sad thing in his life. But like,
it's hard to find anywhere he's not.
That's fair. But it's just like, come on, like I know about Gwen. It's very terrible. I understand it, but like we could have gotten something more uplifting revolving Gwen around this time if you really wanted to pull Gwen in, because there's a lot of sad things that happened with Gwen, but she was part of Peter's life at a certain point to where you could bring a lot of happiness, you know.
I feel like we really are past the Gwen stuff. Like that was at this point we've gone through it. We've passed it several times.
Most people still think that
there were clones, blah blah blah, babies.
Most people, I still have to explain to them that this Gwen Stacy is not the same as Spider Gwen. There is some difference there.
A different universes, people. So it's just complicated. But overall, like I said, I stand by the fact that this is a better book than the previous one. But I will wholeheartedly admit that I rode the high of the Mark Waidism from the last one to carry me through it. It's like it's just a lot. It's very much rides real good in that first story from Mark Waid, but overall this is a better package, and we got 5 whole Negroes from Marvel, so thanks Marvel, we appreciate you. So that's where I'm talking. Oh shit,
this is a Tashi approved Marvel book.
Like so, maybe only two of them mattered, but we still got more than DC.
Yes. Like were 3 of them side pieces? Yes. But Absolutely. Did we get 2 dedicated Negro stories in the book? Yes. So but we're gonna go ahead and wrap up the show, folks. Don't forget that you can follow this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, all those great places. Make sure that you rate and review the show on Spotify and Apple. That way we move up in the algorithm. Don't forget that you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all those great places. B-Rex, how do you want to end issue 43 of Comics Unmasked?
Remember, the world is crazy. Touch grass. You don't even have to go out camping like I did. You guys can just walk outside and go to the park, enjoy your time, because life be going crazy. People be doing some stupid stuff, and every single week you will catch us here talking about comic books during that time.
Okay. Tashi, how do you want to leave the people for issue 43 of Comics Unmasked?
On top of what B-Rex said, did you know that walking outside in nature, even if it's just in your neighborhood, is good for your mental health? It's very, very good. But also read comic books with your eyes open so you can see the messages.
Most definitely. What I will end on, folks, is comics have always been political. Comics will always be political. If you don't think comic books are political, or if you're somebody that says not that kind of political, you're probably a bigot. You need to stop with the bigotry. And I really feel like the more people understand that, the more they'll understand that progressive, I gotta think of the word, progress and progressive ideals have always been baked into comic book mythology since the very beginning. And comic books have always were always meant to be a progressive medium, whether you like it or not. And it's always just real funny when like regressive individuals try to step into the space. It's always very comical to me. But we will catch y'all next week for issue 44 of Comics Unmasked. Peace out.